Errol Spence Jr. says he is coming for Terrance Crawford, and there will be Undisputed. I'm about to break it down for y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. So, Errol Spence Jr. recently came out and said that he is the big fish. He will be undisputed, and he's gunning for Terrance Crawford. Now, Errol Spence Jr. since day one stated that he's going to collect all these belts, and then he's going to go visit Terrance Crawford's side of the street. We all know Terrance Crawford is not signed with Top Rank anymore, and he's suing Bob Arum for $10 million. So the question begs to differ is, what is Terrance Crawford is going to do? Who is he going to sign with? The Danis Ugas and Errol Spence says that Terrance Crawford should also come to the PBC. Even your Danis Ugas said a few days ago that, look, if I beat Errol Spence Jr., I'm coming. You should sign with the PBC and don't duck me. So, with that being said, this is probably one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. Errol Spence Jr. and Terrance Crawford. We all been waiting to see this fight. A lot of diehard boxing fans say that we don't want to see this fight, just like we saw Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather 5 years later, and they could have been fought back in 2011 to 2012, but the fight never came to fruition because Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather had a situation that they just couldn't get a deal done. Well, it's not that they couldn't get a deal done. It's just that, you know, either one side didn't agree to this. You guys know how the business of boxing works. But Errol Spence Jr. Has to get past your Danis Ugas. Your Danis Ugas is no sleeper opponent. He comes from the Cuban school of boxing. Cubans has one of the greatest boxing history lessons of all time. I put Cubans over blacks, whites, Mexicans, everything. It's just the schooling of a Cuban boxers is just hard for anybody to beat into the boxing today. With that being said, Errol Spence Jr. said from day one, look, I'm going to do my part on the side of the street, and then I'm coming for you. And it seems like Errol Spence Jr. is giving the fans that we want to see is Terrance Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. Now, there was coming from reports a few weeks back that reporter says that the PBC, well, it was a report, I forgot his damn name, but he stated that there was no money into the fight with Terrance Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. because they believe that Terrance Crawford was going to try to price himself out, and the fans are not interested in that fight. And I took notice to this, but if the PBC doesn't have money to put up for Errol Spence versus Terrance Crawford, well, tell me this. Why were the PBC going to give Canelo Alvarez $50 million one fight deal to fight Jamal Charlo? Okay, so since Canelo has not taken that deal and Canelo has taken the deal with Matchroom and DAZN with $85 million, will Canelo Alvarez just open up free cap space for Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrance Crawford? Look, you ain't got to pay him $50 million. You can pay him $20 million. You can put $20 million up, pay Terrance Crawford $10 million, pay Errol Spence $2 million, and then they get extras on the back end, on the gate, and on the pay-per-view shares. And you guys know how the business of boxing works. But with that being said, Errol Spence Jr. says that he will be undisputed, and he is the big fish in 2022. And this is his year, and he is assured that he's going to call out Terrance Crawford if he's successful against your Danis Ugas, and also if your Danis Ugas is also successful against Errol Spence Jr., he's going to call out Terrance Crawford. So Terrance Crawford has nowhere to go. Obviously, the best of the best wants to fight Terrance Crawford because Terrance Crawford is a big name. Terrance Crawford has a legacy. Terrance Crawford is already a sure Hall of Famer. He was a champion at 135, undisputed at 140. Now he's a champion at 147, and actually, Terrance Crawford has a lot of ways to make history as well. If Terrance Crawford beats Errol Spence Jr., he would be undisputed at 147, and Terrance Crawford would be the 7th undisputed champion in the undisputed bracket. And then if Terrance Crawford decides, look, I'm gonna go up to 154 and get the winner of Brian Castano and Jamel Charlo, and Terrance Crawford has another opposition to get undisputed once again. So that puts Terrance Crawford over Canelo Alvarez. So Terrance Crawford, you could say if he beats Eubanks Ugas or Errol Spence, he'll be undisputed at 140, 147, and 154, and Terrance Crawford will probably sun off to the sunset. But with that being said, we all want to see the best fights. We all want to see Terrance Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. That is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. I definitely want to see it. This fight is going to be very interesting. I will have a prediction video when this fight really does come to fruition, when everything is said, everything have announcements, everything. I will have a final video of me breaking this down, how I feel what's going to happen between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrance Crawford. But with that being said, guys, Errol Spence Jr., one more time for y'all, says that he will be undisputed in 2022. 2022 is this year. I'm the big fish, which y'all know he got the tattoo, and he is certain that he's going to call out Terrance Crawford if he's successful against Eubanks Ugas. With that being said, guys, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.